Good morning. We're going to get started. Kimberly Peterson is going to make a statement, and then I'm going to make a statement, and then I'll answer any questions that you might happen to have about the case or where we're at. All right? All right. The floor is yours.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Kimberly Peterson, and I'm here to talk for just a couple minutes about what happened on February 26, 2017. I was out for a nice evening with my fiance and friends, and we were having a nice night. For no reason, my friends and I were first verbally assaulted. Then my fiance and I were physically attacked by someone we learned later was Danielle Bergoli and the people with her. We have learned that she led the attack, which was so quick and so violent. My fiance was injured, and I was violently attacked, requiring surgery for a broken nose, and I am treating other injuries. This attack was unprovoked and unnecessary. I have since learned that these attacks are part of a pattern for Ms. Bergoli. This sort of behavior needs to stop.
Thank you for being here this morning. This is a case about responsibility and what happens when there is no responsibility. On February 26, 2017, Kimberly Peterson was having a nice night with her fiancé and a few friends at Downtown Pizza in Lake Worth, Florida, when she had the misfortune of meeting a 13-year-old Danielle Bergoli, better known as the Me Outside girl, who along with her entourage were in a verbal altercation with other people as they were walking the streets past midnight. There are a few things to note. First, Ms. Bergoli was not accompanied by any parent or legal guardian as she was walking the streets after midnight. Second, Ms. Bergoli has a track record of getting into physical altercations, which always seem to end up on video, as she and her mother sell t-shirts and other clothing items and charge for appearance fees and more. Ms. Bergoli's mother, Barbara Ann Bergoli, was well aware of her daughter's violent attacks on other people and has allowed multiple altercations and incidents before this incident involving Kimberly Peterson. These attacks are ending up on TMZ and other websites, and Barbara Bergoli went on the Dr. Phil show to describe her daughter as the Antichrist, who now has just under 8 million Instagram followers. And now there are discussions that she might get her own reality TV show. But this is not actually reality. What is reality? People are getting hurt. After being punched repeatedly in the face and violently falling to the ground, Kimberly Peterson had her nose broken, required surgery, and is getting treatment for other injuries. Under Florida law, Barbara Ann Bergoli is responsible for these violent actions of her 13-year-old daughter, which she has allowed to continue to happen. There are other proceedings in the family court system with allegations of sexual activity and drug abuse we have no involvement with and we will not be addressing here today. Our case is about responsibility and when people don't accept responsibility. Barbara Ann Bergoli has a responsibility to keep her daughter safe from harm and to keep her 13-year-old daughter from causing harm to other people. It's hard being a parent today. We all know this, but we still have to be parents, not buddies, and certainly not business partners. After multiple violent episodes, Danielle Bergoli was still allowed to walk the streets unsupervised late at night and causing more altercations. As a society, we have laws in place to keep people safe from being attacked, and we have laws in place to hold people responsible. And that's what this case is about. We filed suit yesterday against Barbara Ann Bergoli as she was aware of these attacks by her daughter, in one instance even as a participant herself. And she's taken no real steps to prevent her 13-year-old daughter from walking the streets at night, starting fights without a parent or legal guardian present. In this lawsuit, we have reserved the right to amend the complaint to ask for punitive damages once the case is at issue. We are a nation based on the rule of law, and you can't knowingly let your 13-year-old daughter become a menace to society, injuring people along the way that happen to provoke her anger. Do we have any questions that I can answer?
So these attacks just came out of nowhere with nothing exchanged? I mean, there was no catalyst for this at all. She just came and attacked your client.
You mean what happened with Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Ms. Bergoli and her entourage were in a verbal altercation with other people. The suggestion was made that perhaps she should go home to her parents, and then Ms. Bergoli and her entourage attacked Ms. Peterson and her fiance.
Who made that suggestion? Was that Ms. Peterson, the fiance, someone else in the party?
I believe it was you.
That was
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Where in Lake Worth was it?
At Downtown Pizza? But surely the suggestion to a 13-year-old who is having verbal arguments and causing a ruckus that they should perhaps go home should not be the catalyst to Danny Bergoli leading a violent attack on Ms. Peterson and her guests.
When she made the suggestion to go home, I mean, did like the group just stop what they were doing over there and now focus attention and go over here, or how did that?
Well, they were already in the same general area, but that comment, and there's video available all over the internet if you haven't seen it, and it shows kind of without sound what happened. Once the suggestions were made, the attack was made against Ms. Peterson and her entourage.
Do you have a copy of that video?
Yes, I can get it from you when I can get it for you when we're done.
Was this inside or outside this restaurant?
They were sitting in the outside area.
This is like a patio or something
Yeah.
like that?
And-
Were they dining there, Ms. Bergoli, I guess? Or
No.
they were just walking by?
They were just walking the streets after midnight.
Were they in the alleyway between CJ's and the pizza place, or was it, I'm just trying to be specific, is that where they came from, or were they on the sidewalk?
But it seemed like they were on the sidewalk.
They started on the side and then went into the middle of Downtown Pizza and
Okay.
CJ's.
How large would you say this entourage was, and who all did it include, or do you know?
Well, it's hard to say for sure. At least I would say
About 4 to 6.
4 to 6 people, including a bodyguard. Why did a 13-year-old need to walk the streets after midnight with an entourage and a bodyguard? But looking at the video, it looks to be about 4 to 6 people, including Ms. Bergoli.
So was this bodyguard the only adult, or were there other adults, or was everybody a juvenile in this?
With the exception of the big person who seemed to be a bodyguard, they all looked younger. It's hard to say, but we do know is that no parent was there.
And you're absolutely positive, I guess, based on this video, that she was the one who assaulted your client?
Well, we
No one
actually...
else could have possibly done that.
Well, we actually think that the person who did the most damage was another girl pictured in the video who was in the entourage. But Ms. Bergoli participated in and led the attack. It's pretty amazing if you watch the video.
I guess, and I also have another question. You said you later found out that it was her. Did someone tell you that it was her? How did you find that out, and did that help you decide whether or not to file this complaint yesterday?
Well, I can't really answer your question as it's asked because you're asking me to talk about things I've discussed with my client.
All I'm asking is that if this was some other juvenile walking down the sidewalk who had accosted your client in this way, would we have come to this conclusion, or are we doing this because this is Ms. Bergoli?
Well, because Ms. Bergoli keeps attacking people and manages to find a way to monetize this to fame and injured Ms. Peterson so much that she required surgery, yes, that's why we're here today.
Do you know anything about the other girl that you said caused the most damage in the attack?
No, we don't. My investigator and I have reached out to law enforcement. We do not want to interfere in any way with the criminal prosecution for Ms. Bergoli, which is long overdue. How many violent incidents does she have to be involved with before she gets charged and held responsible? So far, we're still waiting for that to happen. We know that the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office is investigating. We know that they've taken statements, and we do not yet know the identity of the other girl.
And just so I'm clear, I got a little confused. So was she involved in an altercation over here, and then you said maybe you should go home? Or can you just go over that one more time? I apologize.
Sure, and let me know if I'm not getting it right.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to represent nice people, even when bad things like this happen to them. Ms. Bergoli and her entourage were in a verbal altercation with other people, and as they passed into the line of sight and very close up to Ms. Peterson and her guests, Ms. Peterson made the suggestion, perhaps you should just go home to your parents, because 13-year-old kids shouldn't be in the streets after midnight making this kind of trouble. It was a statement that should not have provoked this type of physical attack by Ms. Bergoli and her entourage.
So again, no one's been criminally charged in this?
Not yet.
And your hand, is that from the attack as well?
Yes.
Can you explain?
Broken thumb from the fall. I was dragged to the ground.
Do you know this was following the incident at the Kava bar?
Yes.
Yeah, she had quite the night. All you have to do is Google her name, Cash Me Outside Girl. Actually, was the best Google search term, it seems. And use the search term violent or use the search term attack. And you will get all of the 6 incidences that I have found that are available.
And at the time, did you recognize her? Did you know who she was?
I didn't. Other patrons did.
Do you have any other questions?
Just so we can get that video.
Sure. So we filed the lawsuit yesterday, and we are in the process of getting Mrs. Bergoli served. She is the named defendant because she has done nothing to prevent her 13-year-old daughter from repeatedly going off the rails and violently attacking people.
Are there any plans to add her father to the lawsuit?
No. In fact, part of the case is based on the lack of parental responsibility. You know, as I mentioned before, it's hard to be a parent. For those of us who have children, we know it's very hard just to keep our own children on the straight and narrow. And then they go to school, and then they meet other people, and it's hard. But as parents, we have to make that effort. We can't let our children go do what they want, when they want, and then hire a business manager to manage all the different business ventures that are going on. And this is all the mom's doing.
Do you know if they're still in Palm Beach County?
Our understanding was they flew to California to interview about a potential reality TV show, but that they are back in Florida and they have been cited here. Any other questions? All right, we will get you all the video. How many copies do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll call it 10. I thought it would be enough. I want to thank you all for coming here today. Ms. Peterson felt that it was important to talk about what happened because we can't live in a country where 13-year-old girls have an entourage and attack people. And we have to hold people responsible for this sort of thing.